Alright, so I am back for another Trove tutorial, which I'm probably going to call Trove tutorials because I think it sounds good. This one's going to be on gems and gear, so I'm going to cover like the basic gear levels, maybe some tips on how to grind gear, as well as how gems work, because a lot of people, especially for advanced gem stuff like Gemforge and augments, some people might not know how it works, especially if you're new. So first things first is gear rarities. So there's common, uncommon, something like epic, wait no. That's right, it's common, uncommon, rare, epic, legendary, relic, resplendent, shadow 1 through 5, radiant, stellar, then crystal 1 through 4. That's from lowest to highest. I'll put a chart on the screen if I remember. And so you can get those in various ways. Common gear you start with, and then pinatas drop it. You just like, it's just very basic, you know, it's meant for looting it for styles and just something to have so you can use at the start of the game. Then you get uncommon gear in the Medieval Highlands world right here. So if we go there, I can go ahead and show you an example of uncommon gear. Remember, enemies and dungeons can drop gear. I believe regular dungeons will drop 2 pieces, and 3-star dungeons will drop 3. I'm not sure if 3 stars generate in this world, though. But let's go see if we can find a piece of uncommon gear real quick, and I'll be back when I find one. Okay, here we are at this dungeon. So you just go in here, kill all the enemies, which will normally take longer, especially when you're starting up the game. Kill the boss, and then open that chest, which I opened by accident. And there you go. There's 2 pieces of uncommon gear. So if you have Magic Find, it will sometimes activate and increase in rarity. Didn't activate this time, but I got a Chaos Chest at least. So yeah, that's how you get pretty much all gear. Just go do dungeons, kill the enemies, and you'll get it. So I can equip it and have worse stats. Yes, so that's for basic gear. Then the keys to gear are pretty simple because remember, you want to get higher tier gear. That way you can just, you know, function better. And a good way at first is to just grind in dungeons, like I said. But you can also do delves and geo topside. So once you hit 5,000 power rank, you can go to Uber 8 geo topside and you get crystal gear, which is the best in the game so far. So it goes up to crystal 4. You can come here to this little craft station and craft every weapon. So it's got all 6 weapon types, and you can just craft a crystal 1 version. Let's make like a bow since I'm a shadow hunter, and then I craft it, and there we go. I got a, that's actually pretty good. You want to try and get crit damage, but that's a good bow. So very easy. You can get Viridium and Nitroglycerine in topside, like it says, that little green ore right here. This is Viridium, and then over here is Nitroglycerine right here. So just go get a few of that or buy it off the market, and then make a crystal gear, and you've already got the best in the game. It's a lot faster and easier than grinding. But if you do want to grind for gear, you could, because you get to do that up until you get 5,000 power rank. But most of your power rank is going to come from gems over here. Like, see, I get 23k from gems. Yes, it's very easy. I do advise like leveling crystal gear a bit, as well as putting pearls of wisdom on it, which I'll get into in a second. Okay, back here, I'm going to upgrade this crystal gear. I'm not going to actually upgrade it because I don't want to, but you could just put it in here. You'll need a crystalline core, a forge fragment, and 10 nitroglycerine to add 1 star, and I'll increase the stats by this much. So now for stats, because you know things have stats, but what stats should you get? Pretty much every class is the holy trinity of damage, crit damage, and crit hit. Damage varying based on what type of damage you use, for example. Like Shadow Hunter is physical damage, so you want to get physical damage, crit damage, and crit hit. But Candy or Fey Trickster is like magic damage, so you want to get magic damage, critical damage, and critical hit. So you can check a class's weapon to see the damage type. The first stat will always be damage. Then for crystal gear, the second stat will be light. But for other gear, the second stat will be something like this. Like see how that has movement speed. This one's also got movement speed, so it's not a good example. But you can have stats. So most gear can get 4 stats max. You can add a stat in a enchanted forge right here using a pearl of wisdom. So I could add a 3rd stat on this uncommon gear if I really wanted to, but I'm probably not going to because I don't. Yeah, you add it, it'll add a new stat. If you have max stats, it will increase the stat, like these little pearl icons next to my gear. That's like a boost. I believe the boost is like 10% of the stat. I'm not quite sure though, but it'll boost the stat a little bit. So higher tier gear will get more stats. For example, like see this has 41% crit, whereas this has 30%. And yeah, so pretty easy. It's a very basic system, but you know, gems are more complicated, which is what I wanted to mainly talk about because gear itself, like I said, is pretty simple and straightforward. It's just like grinding to get stuff that you need and then you're done. All right, now into gems. So gems are, it's kind of simple, but it does have some more complicated intricacies, which I will get into. But the very basic concept is very easy. You go to this gem tab here, click C, then this is your gems menu. There's also mastery and battle factor and like the main character overview here. But this is where you equip gems. So each level will unlock different slots. I believe this one unlocks at level 10, then level 12 or 13 is the second water slot, and so on. You can check in your character menu. I will, if I can find an infographic about it, I'll put it on the screen. But I know that this slot unlocks at level 30, so you want to max out your level so you can get all of the gem slots. But you can first use gems at level 10. There's a brief tutorial over it. You talk to, after the Quebsley quest, I think there's one part where he's like, okay, you're done with the tutorial, now go pick an NPC and talk to them and they can give you more info on the game. And at that point, you can go get the gems quest and he'll give you a very basic overview of how it works. But the more in-depth things is what I wanted to cover. So, basic gem knowledge, you can go to elemental worlds to grind gems. They do also drop in prime worlds, but it's rarer and it's not good to grind for gems there. It's better for like XP and like, club quests, which I made in my previous video, and tutorial stuff and so on. But you want to go to elemental worlds, Uber 3 is when it starts. So like level 10 is when you unlock gem slots, and you can use the basic ones from the beginner's box, which I think drops in Uber 1. There's like a, I think, more advanced one in Uber 2 and so on. And you can go to Uber 3, get water gems, equip them, get more power rank, go to Uber 4, get better gems, so on. So you can skip to the highest level you want. I would say go to the highest world you can and grind there. And if you're not able to, maybe get a carry or get a couple friends to join. That way you can go get gems together and all level up roughly equally. Yes, so you want to grind in elemental worlds. There's this drowned one, Cursed Skylands, Igneous Isles, and then Geode Topside, which is how you get cosmic gems. So of course they're all themed. This is obviously fire, this is air, and this is obviously water. But Topside drops cosmic gems, which have light, which I'll get into in another video. But for a very basic overview, just go there, grind gems, equip them, so on. But for the more complicated stuff though, is gem stats. So when gems drop, like here, I can open these boxes I have. So as dust, here you go, 2-star. So gems can drop with 3 stats and sometimes 2 stats. So you want to equip gems that have 3 stats. In this case, this is pretty good because it's got damage, crit damage, and max health. Of course, it is shadow, so I wouldn't want to use it if I have better gems. But it's not bad if you're starting out. You want to try and re-roll the max health though. Like if this was Stellar, for example, had these same stats, you could keep it and use it if you had a magic damage class. Yes, gems can be arcane or fierce. Arcane is magic and fierce is physical damage. And I don't believe you can re-roll the damage type. Let's try that real quick. So you can't re-roll the damage type, I think. Yeah, I don't have a thing to test it, but I'm pretty sure the damage is stuck there. If it's like arcane, it has to be magic damage and so on. Yes, so gems can drop there. Older gems could drop with health regen. It's like these are some older gems. Like I've got these basic ones from way back when gems first came out. Okay, so these are all perfect gems. Damage, crit, crit hit. Then these have max health. But yes, you want to aim for the Holy Trinity stats. Get a couple empower gems that have health on them. Like see my class gem here has damage, health, which is okay because you want to get some max health, so especially in Uber 10 you don't die instantly. Then this has also got max health, but this one does too. So I think I might want max health on this, but I don't have a slot to use. So you want to try and get that, and then there's these little boosts here. Every 5 levels you'll get a boost. So if we level this thing up, for example, so like we got 31% max health, 850 magic damage, and 13% crit. Let's level it to level 5, and every level will get a few stats. So you keep leveling it. It's pretty cheap. You can use boosters, which I'm not going to use, but it will increase the level up chance. I would say use horseshoes at like level 10 or so. And then like luck bugs at like level 15-ish. And obviously don't use them on non-stellar gems. Like maybe in power gems that are radiant you can use, but you don't want to waste your boosters on low level gems because it's pretty easy to level these up, especially if you can grind in a higher world. Like one shadow gem drops like 35 dust base, so that's enough for at least 1 or 2 levels on this. It is currently Wednesday, so there is a discount on gem upgrade cost, as well as my club gives me the bonus. If we go over here, my club bonus, yeah, 10% reduction in gem cost, so I'm like getting 20% off of this upgrade, which is nice. Yes, so level up, and there we go, max health boost. So that like doubled the max health, and it added this little nodule right here. So it's got this one little pearl thing, and that represents a stat boost. So at level 5, 10, and 15, gems will get a big stat boost like that. And you could tell based on this little notch where it is. It's like I got 3 boosts here because it's level 25. All my gems are level 25. So it boosted crit damage once and light twice. And then this one boosted crit damage twice and physical damage once. And I got I think this one had a max health boost that I re-rolled and so on. So just, this got boost on one of each. It's pretty good. Yes. Once you can get those boosts, it's quite nice because that increases the stats you get. And it also allows you to keep it because It boosts stats, and like I said, if a gem drops to 2 stats, actually I don't think I said this, but yeah, if a gem drops to 2 stats, don't use it, because that means you wasted boost on adding a third stat. Like, I don't have one to show, so I can get one real quick. So I think they're all going to drop with 2 stars, but yeah, they all had 3 stats. Well, if a gem drops to 2 stats though, don't level up, because, I mean, you can level it, but don't keep it for long, because you'll waste the first boost on adding another stat, and that means you can't get max power rank. Like, if you noticed, max power rank on a lesser gem is 1755, so we max out the level, then use augments to max out all these stats, and then for power gems, it's 2251. So you don't want to waste a stat boost on adding a third stat, because that prevents you from getting max power rank on the gem, and makes the whole gem weaker, because you could get something else that's better. So good drops for gems, like for stellar ones, for example, would be like, I think about 500 power rank or more, and then, you know, all 3 stats. Ideally perfect stats, but you can reroll them if you need to. And so I think that's it for the basic gem things. I wanted to cover these little notches and boosts because people always like overlook that. Also because the gem forge is kind of advanced, and they just like aren't sure what these percentages and numbers are. This is like the range of stats. It's like lowest to highest, and then the percent is how far along you are to getting that. Like, see, max health on this is 22,550, and it's at 100%. But like this one, for example, has 33% physical damage, which is not very good, but not terrible. Because like, I don't think, yeah, see, the amount is not really going to change. It just means that this gem rolled lower stats, so I need to use more augments on it. But max physical damage on this is 5390, and I am 33% of the way to get there, because it's 4923 right now. Quite simple, and these percentages are relevant for the augments, which I think I'll start getting into. So augments are quite simple. Like in execution, you use these little booster things to boost a stat by a certain amount. Let's see if I can go make one real quick to show you. Yeah, you craft with the adventurer's workbench. All the gem stuff is made here. So you like a precise focus, for example, it needs bound brilliance, 3k of each dust, and 2000 flux. I'm kind of poor right now. Then this one needs 400 darkness, 1200 flux, and bound brilliance. And then the superior focus, which I advise if you're mid or late game, because it needs 50,000 flux and titan souls and dragonite. So it is aimed at more late game players who have a lot of dragonite to spare. And then, you know, chaos sparks reroll stats, and chaos flares reroll stat boosts. You know, those little notches on the gem. So let's make this precise focus, and then I can go over here, crafting horse in background. Remember, see, it said finish crafting. I can go here, go, let's say this gem. I'm actually here. Let's do like this one, because this is close to max power rank. See, 1755 is max, and this is at 1717. So I can select my precise focus and then select a stat. So I'm going to boost, let's say the light, because see, I've got over 100% critical hit. So I need to reroll this because I just frankly don't need it. I'll try and get crit damage, but I could use more light because I've got, you know, 5.3k, and I want to get more to do things better. So I put the gem in there. You can also just left click to quickly move it. But I select the augment, select the stat, improve stat, and there you go. It went up by 3%. That's pretty good. So now I've got 5302 light. So it gave me like 4 extra light. It's not bad. Actually, like 3 extra light. So yeah, boosts are kind of small, but they add up, as with all things. And then eventually you can just max out, because like this gem, for example, gives like 8k physical damage, and this only gives 5.3k because I have it maxed. And then this one had a boost on physical damage, which is why the max is higher. So there's probably a lot of complicated math that goes on that I just don't know. But it's the basic thing, you know, try to get 3 stats, use augments, so on. And then I think that's about it for gems. Just I wanted to cover like how to get them, you know, advice on which ones to use. Don't use ones that drop to 2 stats. Like, try to level them to get them to be good. You can check in the gem forge, like I said. You just put any gem in the gem forge. Pretty much every club world is going to have one, and you can also make one. It's pretty cheap. I think you make it at the builder's bench. I believe it's over here, and then it should be like, yeah, gems and gear, and then gem forge, yeah. So it's pretty affordable, you know, 30 tentacles, and then 100 dust, and 30 infinium. Really cheap, but pretty much every club world is going to have it. I've got like 2 in my club world to make it even, but you can just put the gem in there, you know, open inventory, plop the gem in there, and look, there we go, 80% to max at this level, because when I fully max out, you can get the actual max stats, but you can just do a basic overview, know how the percentages work, and rerolling stats, yeah. So this will reroll a stat to something randomized. You can get damage of both kinds, but not on the same gem. So it'd be like damage, crit hit, maximum health, and percent maximum health are the possible stats on gems. You used to be able to get health regen, it was the worst, but now you can only get those like 5 stats, like 4 or 5 stats. So you get like, this one's like damage, crit damage, max health. So what I could do is say like, pretend this was a stellar gem, so it'd be good. I could be like, yeah, I don't really want that max health on my lesser gem, so let's just select it and re-roll it. And then I can re-roll it, and hopefully I could get critical hit, because you can't get two of the same stat. So this stat could be max health, percent max health, or critical hit. That's the only possibility I can get. But if like this one was max health, then it would be only percent max health or crit hit, for example. And then this will move the stat upgrade. So these little stat upgrade notches, you can select it and move it randomly from one stat to another one. To get maximum light, you want to get all three stats on light. So like say for this one, I could be like, well, I think my crit damage is good, so let's re-roll this to light. And then there you go. Hopefully it works. It might go on damage instead. But yeah, it's very random, but it's a lot less random than it used to be. And it's not terrible to get because, you know, Chaos Sparks right here are kind of annoying. Probably the main thing is Binding Darkness, just because it doesn't drop very often. Because eyes are really cheap. You could just buy them on the market for like, I think it's only, yeah, like 3 each. Very cheap. You can also just open shadow caches to get a few. That's where I get most of mine. And then Lunar Souls, you can get 18 per week and make a contains Chaos Spark, and then turn that into a Chaos Flare. And you can also get Lustrous Gem Boxes. The current event going on, it's not my claims anymore, but the current Valor coin event, I think it's called Splendid Summer, there we go. Yeah, that event, you can get Lustrous Gem Boxes from the daily adventures you do. You probably view it on Trove, I'll put a link in the description. But on Wednesday, you can get 3 Lustrous Gem Boxes from dungeons, 6 with Patron. So you just do dungeons, and you get all the things, open them, and they will give you the little augments you can get. And you can also craft them. So like say, if you really need some contained Chaos Sparks, but don't have any Lunar Souls, because you've maxed it for the week, like me, for example, then you can go get some Lustrous Boxes, open them, and hope you get what you need. Yes, so I think that's about it for this tutorial. I might make like a follow-up video if I forgot something, or something new comes around, but that's about it. Just, you know, get gems, upgrade them, be sure they're good, so on. So the next video, I'm going to probably make it over contests and subclasses and whatnot. So stay tuned for that. It should come out within a few days or maybe a couple weeks. Depends on when I decide to upload it. Yes, thank you for watching. I hope I helped out.